Hi, welcome to Career Development 1, Mini Lecture 7. So the purpose of this mini lecture is to discuss career construction theory and life designing paradigm. I think you're really going to like this one. It's totally different from the theories we've discussed thus far. It's creative, there's a use of metaphor, and there's a roadmap, which I know you all appreciate. So some background. This is created by Dr. Mark Savickas. This is a postmodern theory. It's really current. It's also radical in career counseling for all the reasons that we're about to talk about. The primary concept here is self-construction. So that means understanding how clients construct meaning about their career and helping them in designing meaning. The idea is that this begins during childhood. Savickas talks about how we are first actors, then agents, and then later authors of our life and career. So those of you who have been in the biz, I thought you'd appreciate that. And this theory really talks about how individuals adapt to their environment versus hitting inner milestones or developmental milestones. And that's one of the things that makes this different from the theories that we've discussed thus far. This is an entirely narrative theory. So it's all about the story and not the latter. So again, not hitting those milestones. We're looking at the whole picture. And this theory considers context and systems. So again, the greater context and the systems that the client is working within. It also takes into account the market, the labor market. And this is an important and practical part of career counseling, in my opinion. So some of this will sound familiar. This is developed loosely on some of Super's developmental theory. That's the one with the rainbow. So Savickas talks about the 4 C's, the 4 dimensions of career adaptability. Career concern, this is the idea of planning for tomorrow. Career control, having control over your choices. Career curiosity, the idea of being inquisitive about possibility and alternatives. And career confidence, the idea of self-efficacy. So again, there is a roadmap here. So Savickas has created this career counseling model, and there's 3 phases to it. The first is about constructing career through small stories. We then reconstruct these micro narratives into a macro narrative or life portrait. And then the final phase is co-constructing a client's intentions that lead to the next action. So some solution or resolution. And for you theater kids out there, Savickas describes this as a 3-act drama. The first act introduces the character. The second act presents the core conflict and ends with an understanding that leads to a moment of truth. The third act reveals changes prompted by the new understanding. So how do we do this? Phase 1. Now again, there is this roadmap. So it will always basically look the same with when we're engaging in this theory with our clients. It's not that there's a script, but there is a framework. So we always begin by asking the client, how can I be useful to you as you construct your career? We then engage in a career construction interview, which consists of questions designed to elicit the client's story. And there are helpful prompts for these questions on page 194 of our textbook. And these questions are based on role models, favorite media, favorite stories, mottos, and early recollections or early memories. So phase 2 is the reconstruction. We do this in collaboration with the client. The counselor rearranges the micro narratives into the life portrait. The goal here, as Savickas says, is to help the client gain a new perspective of career and life history to develop new narratives to resolve current problems. And Savickas says that the counselor is the carpenter who scaffolds the new meaning, but the client is the architect who has authorized the reconstruction. So how do we do this phase 2? Again, Savickas has outlined an assessment routine, and this guides the review phase 2 of the micro narratives, those stories that are gathered during the interview. So we combine those micro narratives from the questions. And the goal here is to let clients listen to their lives speak and speak specifically to their career concerns. And in order to do this, Savickas says we must enter the story, engage your intuition and empathy, understand the story by recognizing the themes and metaphors, so linking, and then elaborate meaning, so guide the client on multiple perspectives and interpretations that lead to new possibilities. So this is stuff we're already doing as therapists, right? So the overall goals for writing the client's life portrait. And this is a lot of words here that I'm going to read to you, so feel free to skip ahead or to just take a screenshot. We want to give the best possible account of the client's life. We want to use language that opens up possibilities. We want to emphasize themes that extend the occupational plot. We want to ensure the narrative is credible, comprehensible, coherent, and continuous in articulating themes. And we want to be disciplined in considering the meaning of the client's stories. And there's 8 steps to create a client's life portrait. Again, more words that I'm going to read to you, feel free to take a screenshot. The 8 steps here: review the client goals for counseling, identify the client's perspective on the problem. And we do this by referring to the early recollection question. Again, we have this roadmap that tells us how to link these things, how to put this all together. Identify the client's solution to these problems. We do that with the role model question. Assess settings or environments that attract the client. We do that with the favorite media question. Determine how the client might animate a possible self in the identified environment. We do that with the favorite story question. Consider the next episode. We do that with the motto question. We then plot a future scenario by brainstorming majors or occupations. And then we formulate a response to the client's initial reasons for counseling. So phase 3 is the co-construction. This is a collaborative edit of the initial life portrait. And the goal here is to create a unifying message that signals and compels a choice and to take action. So some closing thoughts here. Again, I think this is a really nice fit for us as psychotherapists. All the idea of themes, the narrative, the collaboration, the co-editing, it allows us to really meet clients where they are and to take a holistic approach, looking at the whole life and inviting the client in to tell us what actually matters to them, what's meaningful for them. As always, let me know if anything needs to be clarified. Thanks for watching.